Hello everyone and welcome back to Angie B Crafts. So I recently did a video on crafting together with oil brands, and one of the things that I was using was these Vicki Boutin crayons, art crayons. So the water soluble art crayons, I've got 3 packs. I think that's all the different colours you can get, but I've had them for ages, so there may have been new ones brought out, I'm not sure. And someone said to me, have you tried them on your gel press? Because they knew that I was into my gel press. And I thought, oh, no, I haven't. So I've now tried them on my gel press and I'm so impressed I thought I'd make a video with it. So this is it. So these crayons are rather fabulous. They come like this, so you can stand them up like this, or you can lay them flat. So I'm going to lay them flat just for ease of access. They do tend to be quite brittle, they break quite easily, hence I've got some little pieces. I'm not sure if that's just because I've had these for so long. I've had them over 5 years now, I would have said. So it could be that they're just so old and haven't been used, and that's why they are as brittle as they are. But they still function, they still do what I want them to do. The other thing that I'm going to be using is some white acrylic paint. Now this is, I've got several different ones in my collection. This is just the one that came to hand, which is a Liquitex Basics acrylic in titanium white, and it's just the first one I put my hand on when I opened my tub of paints, so that's why I'm using it. It's not for any specific reason. So I've tried a few different things with this and I thought I'd show you. The other thing that we might need is some water. So I'm just going to show you everything that I've learned, just so that you know, and then you can have a play yourselves and hopefully make some fantastic art. I've just cut some roughly A5 pieces of card. It's just super smooth card, nothing special about it, particularly it's 300 GSM. It's quite thick, it's thicker than most people use, but it's just my go-to card, so that's why I'm using that. And yeah, let's get doing some creating. So I have even, can I just say, I have even cleaned, this is my clean gel press. So the reason it's yellow is courtesy of yellow alcohol ink. It's not because it's got a bad smoking habit, it's just the alcohol ink has actually stained it, and I think the crayons are beginning to stain it a little bit. You can see these lines. This is because of the crayons, because I was playing with them yesterday, but that's fine. It doesn't come off when I rub it, it doesn't come off, it's absolutely fine, there's nothing there. So to start off with, I'm just going to pop some colour down, just whatever colour, doesn't matter. It's just to let you see what happens when we put colour down and then when we lift it off. So I'm just going for whatever colour comes out. I'll have a bit of purple, so it'd just be rude not to. Alright, well, let's have some of this dark blue as well, and a little bit of yellow. Let's brighten it all up. So this is just to get some colours down, there's no rhyme or reason to it. So you can see now on here there are just lines of colour. Some of them are clearer than others because we're going on to a yellow background. So yeah, it's just got colour. I'll show you what happens if I just pop a piece of card over the top and give it a rub. You get the palest of pale hint of a couple of stripes. Absolutely nothing of interest. So what happens if, I'll just move my stack of paper out of the way so I don't spray it. If I spray water on this, because remember these are water soluble, so they react with water. So I've just put water over the top of it, that's it, nothing more technical. Give it a bit of a rub, rub-a-dub-dub, and then peel it off. So now we're starting to get some interest. We're starting to lift the colour. So the water activates the colour will then lift, and you can very much see the lines there. Okay, so on here now we have a little bit of water left and still some colour. So I'm just going to see if there's a second pull in it. There may be, there may not. So this is basically my way of experimenting. Someone suggested, had I tried it, I hadn't, so I gave it a go. I've just used my little plate because it is just for testing. So now we get, oh that's pretty, we get a nice faded tonal colour. That's very pretty. So do a comparison there. That's your first pull, so that's got more vibrancy. That's your second pull. Okay, so that's just with water. Right, so I'm now going to add some more colour again. Again, I'm not fussy about what I add where, I am just sticking some colour onto my gel press. I do love my gel press, I think it's my favourite thing. There's still some little bits of water on here, so there's some hints of more movement. That's fine. Should we have a bit of blue? Nice pale blue. Okay, and we'll go for the paler purple. So I think this is really useful for just creating some interesting backgrounds. I'll do something else differently momentarily. Right, so this time I'm going to do it with the Liquitex white acrylic paint. As I say, it's just normal acrylic paint, it's not gesso, it's just normal acrylic paint. And then I've got a brayer. Now my brayer has got lots of these little bits on. These little bits are actually bits of crayon. I'm going to pop a piece of card next to me there because I'm going to use it to roll off my brayer, and then you'll see the effect. So you can see there's some colour coming through, because remember there's fluid in the paint and the crayons are water soluble, so they're going to interact with fluid. So now I've got, I don't know if you can see, lots of little lumps. It looks like I've got a pimply roller. And now if I roll my roller, look at this. This is probably my favourite thing about it, you know. How cool is that? All those little bits of the crayon are now little dots of multicolour. How fab is that? Let me bring that light in a little bit more for you. How fabulous is that? I love it. So yeah, that's one of the things I like. Anyway, before this dries completely, let's do a pull. I apparently have a purple thumb because I keep getting purple thumbprints. So this is how you would ordinarily do a pull. You would put a paler colour on the back, and that then adheres whatever's on the gel press to the paper and forms a bond, so when you lift it off you get your print. Now I might have left it a little bit too long because of showing you this thing at the side, but that's fine because we can redo it. I'm giving it a really good press. I want to get a really good coverage and as much of the colour as possible in one go. Okay, are you ready? This makes me happy. Oh, look at that. How blinking brilliant is that? I just absolutely love it. It's so much more vibrant than if you just do it with the water. So it's the same crayons, but we've just added the paint on the back to lift the colour. Okay. Right. Let's see, do we have anything left on there? Let's just put another piece down. Give it a rub, see if we have got any left. There might not be, and that's fine. No, there's nothing coming up, that's fine. I'll put that over to one side because we'll use that for the next one as well. Okay, so this time I had a thought when I was doing the last one that it might be interesting. There was a video done by Julia McNeil from JMC Designs the other day. She's a Scottish lady and therefore tartan is very close to her heart. And this just popped into my little head as I was doing the other colours. So let's see if we can go a bit thicker, because this might be an interesting way of getting tartan. So Julia, thank you for this inspiration. Oops, it's either very brittle, but that's fine. We can work with that. We just want the colour. And remember, they're very highly pigmented, so you could actually use them. If you do find that you break some, don't panic about it. You can pop them into a, what they call, palette, a little palette. In fact, let me find a little palette so we don't lose them. So we can pop all these tiny little bits into here, and if we add water, we're going to have a nice basis for some colour. I'll give my finger a wipe and get another piece of the purple. So we're getting very messy here, and that's fine. If you've watched me before, you'll know that's my favourite pastime, getting messy. Now we're at the point where we can't really see, and that's one of the things with this, you can't see an awful lot of where the colour's going. So some of it is going to be hit and miss, but that's fine, that's half the fun. I'm guesstimating now. I don't know. Let's see what happens. It's a nod to tartan, it doesn't have to be exact. What other colour should we have? A little bit of orange. I like this orange. So I think here I'm possibly going over the blue a little bit, but that's fine. Okay, so we've now got some fabulous colour down, and now we're going to do exactly the same. What I am going to do is just tip this up and give it a tap, and that's just to get those extra bits of the purple off, because if you rub it off, you're obviously going to impact on the colour that's there. So if you just tip it off, you can clean your mat afterwards, so don't stress about it. Okay, so I've not done a tartan one before. See, I learn as I go, and that's one of the things that I love about being creative, is you create your own style. But I love to share anything that I learn or anything that I think other people might find interesting. Right, so we've got a good layer of paint on there, possibly a bit too much, but just let me show you this again. See, we've got different colours this time, so we're getting a completely different spotty look. And we've still got quite a few little pimples on there, so I'm going to take off a little bit more of this paint because we don't want it too thick on the back of the crayons. Okay, and then just giving it a good roll to get rid of as much of the colour as possible. It makes me happy. Alright, grab a piece of card and let's see what happens. So, if you've not used a jelly press before, they're made of gelatin. This one is has got no animal product in it. It's a gel press one. Oh my word! Oh my word! Oh, how cool is that for background? I'm gonna have to tell Julia this one because that is fabulous. I'm going to put some more white on and just see if there's a pale print still left on there. So yeah, your gel prints are basically gelatin plates, it's a gelatin plate, and it's designed to give up whatever medium you put on it with the aid of some paint on the back of it. And it's just one of those things you can throw anything at. I throw acrylics, distress inks, distress oxides, ink sprays, acrylic inks, alcohol inks. There's a whole host of things that you can throw at it, and everyone is going to give you a different look. And now we have art crayons. Now I do have somewhere some Tim Holtz crayons. And I should have thought and got them out, but never mind. Something else that I'm going to try actually, that I've heard someone else mention that I haven't done on my gel press, which I might as well do while I've got it out, is my brushos. Oh yeah, we'll get a decent second pull on that one as well. Look at that. How fab is that? I'm loving it. Right, one more thing that I was doing yesterday. Now this is me, I'm not a fine artist by any stretch of the imagination, but I do like to make pictures of things. Usually just straight out of my head. I don't try and make them from an image. I do occasionally with people, but oops, so they break very easily. But I do like to make some scenes. Now the difficulty with doing scenes with this is you can't see exactly what you've put down, so you're kind of working blind, which has pros and cons to it. I think it has something positive about it because it means that you're going to get a pleasant surprise, or maybe not a pleasant surprise, when you actually pull off the top layer. But it does mean that you're having to think about where you're putting things more. It's making it a more tactile kind of experience as to where you're putting the colours. I'm even swapping hands. I never ever use my left hand. It does drag. What I would say is there is a drag as you're going across, so yeah, be aware of that. It's not a smooth movement, there's a kind of a little bit of a vibration going across. So this is my sky. Down here I've got some greenery, which I think I'm probably going to make into some hills. Let's put a bit of this blue. See this one, the broken bit's just gone back inside. But hey ho, it doesn't matter. Oh, there's another broken bit. They're all usable even when they're broken. A broken crayon will still colour. I'll put that bit in my pot. Okay. Oh, a little bit of this green. Oh, doesn't want to come out. There we go. Just going to turn sideways on. You can see I've got quite a few bits. I'm just going to give them a shake off and add in some more green here, a little bit here. Okay, and then oops, a bit of brown. It's making me laugh. They all seem to be breaking off at about an inch. Right, sorry, I got totally engrossed in it then and forgot to speak. I'm going to add in some more colour along that line. Oh, I've lost the other line. We'll guesstimate it about there, I think. And I think we need some white. We need a bit of white in the sky, just to add a bit of a cloudy feel. Now obviously you don't have to just go in straight lines. I'm just finding it easier because of the resistance. If you were to start going in circles, you're going to struggle a little bit, but it's kind of down to yourself how you do it. Put a bit of green here, just lighten things, green, white even, lighten this bit up, and a bit of lightness on here. So I've no idea how this is going to turn out, but we shall find out. I'll give it another shuggle and just make sure as many loose bits as possible are off it, and then let's put the white on. So fingers crossed this isn't going to be a horrific mess. I'm sure it'll be fine. Have confidence, Angela, it'll be fine. So you can see there's a different colour coming through there. We've got more greens coming through. Oh, again. I love that bit. Let me just show you this. I think it's maybe my favourite bit, this, is the spottiness. Look at that. How cool is that? Love it. Right. Let's print that onto a piece of card. The other thing that I'm going to show you in a moment is how they look on black as well, just so that you get a good idea of what you're going to be playing with. And I'm going to try something that I haven't yet tried as well, I think. Oh, sorry, I'm making everything wobble. Overly enthusiastic in the rubbing. Oh, I'm quite liking this. Oh, the sky's nice. There we go. I quite like the sky. I'm not quite so convinced about down here, but it's a start of something, isn't it? Let's try and see what we get with a second pull on that one. A little bit of the white and give it a bit of a roll. I do love experimenting with new ideas, it makes me happy. And hopefully it means that you guys, when you watch, get inspiration to try new things with your stuff as well. Because that's basically what it's all about. Right, let's use a bit of black for this one and see how it comes up on the black. We'll do it just in the middle. So we're going to get partial sky and partial mountains. Okay. Oh, just a load of white. Yeah, we're just pretty much getting white. There's a little bit of colour, but not a great deal, and that's fine. Right, I'll use a bit of brown to mop up because I quite like the paleness that comes onto the brown just for putting stripes of colour. So this is the start of something. This isn't obviously going to be the finished product, but it's the beginning. You can start seeing that there's more colour coming off. Let's pop it down in the middle. What you'll find as well with your different cards that you use, depending on the surface, so this one's got a bit of a roughness, whereas the others are much smoother. Both the black and the white are much smoother. So you may find that sometimes the rougher picks up more. So don't kind of just stick with one thing and think, well, that's what I use. Try different things on it and see what you end up with. Don't be afraid to challenge it, because at worst you end up with a piece of card you don't like. But I actually really like that. I think I like it that way. That way up, actually. Oh, I can see that as a view out a window. And then we've got kind of islands or pools or something. I can make something with that. Right, so let's do one that is specifically for the black, and we'll do it with the water just to show you what happens. So we've still got some white paint on here because it's not been picked up, but that's fine, because with all jelly plates it's personal preference as to whether you clean your jelly plate or have a seasoned jelly plate. I cleaned this one yesterday. I've had it for a couple of years, and that's the first time I've ever taken it to the sink and given it a wash. And it was purely because I was using this on it and I wanted to try it. I wanted a clean base to work from. I didn't want to have it influenced by the other things that I've used with it. So that's the only reason that it was cleaned, because I was doing something different. But it's the first time in all the time I've had it that it's been anywhere near water. I usually give it a spray with a water bottle at best and a bit of a rub, and that's it. But it's never been to the sink before. And I don't think it's going to be going again for a while. But if I show you, I'll just show you my acetates that go either side of it. In fact, I've lost one of them. I don't know where one of them is. But this is one of my acetates that's meant to be protecting my gel press, and it's got some lovely thick paint on there. So I think this has now got to the point, it's even got some paper stuck on it from various pulls. I think this has now got to the point where I need to use it in something else, because it's not really going to be doing much protection because it's got so much paint on it, but that's fine. Right, so the first one I'm going to do is just the wet look, same as we did with the other one. Move that out of the way, and let's pop the black card on. What you find with the water as well, because these are quite waxy, when you spray the water onto them, what you tend to find is that there's a lot of movement, so you need to firmly hold your paper with one hand while you press with the other. Okay, so it's actually quite a nice effect on the black, but it may not be what you're going for. The thing that's giving it the effect is actually the little clumps of the wax. Interesting. Right, let's do a second pull off of her. Actually, now it's a bit drier, I might get a different image. So this is just, I've not added anything extra, it's just another pull on exactly the same. Just kind of looks a bit more chalky, but they're usable, they can be added to. Right, I'm just going to dry off around this because it's getting a little bit damp. And do a quick dab of the worst bits of water. That's me cleaning my gel press. Right, so now I'm going to do a similar thing, just do some squares. So you can start to do pattern building and all sorts using these, and that's one of the things I like about the gel press, is you can actually add bits in and do your designing on the gel press, which is good fun. Not being able to see is sometimes very interesting. I've done some pictures using acrylics in the past where I've just done a background of something basic like sea and sand or something, and then started adding in interest as individual layers back onto the gel press, and that was interesting to do. It was good fun. Right, a little bit of white paint and a little bit of a brayer. Again, I'm a fan of the texture that not having a clean brayer gives you. I need to have an air bubble. There we go. I needed to get an air bubble out from underneath my gel press. What you'll find if you don't have it stuck onto, up until the last few days, this has just remained one side or another stuck to an acetate sheet. And that's how I've moved it around. If you don't have it stuck to your acetate sheet and you're placing it each time you use it, what you tend to find is you'll get air bubbles underneath, and it's worth just trying to smooth them over, purely from the point of view of making it a level surface to work on. And they just make little trumpy noises as you let the air out. I mean, you can do it just as you're pressing down, you don't have to do it with the brayer, but it can impact on how smooth your image is if you're not on a smooth base. So I can feel there's a little bit of a lump there. So this is the crayons with the acrylic paint on the back of it onto black card. Ooh. That looks really nice actually. You're getting a much paler look. Oh sorry, I've just shoved that in the camera. You're getting a much paler look on that compared to the vibrancy of a first pull on the white. But I think it's because it's against the black background. So this has got the white paint and then a white layer behind it of your card. This has got black paint, then a white layer, then your colour. So you're going to get a different tone. Right, let's do another one of the tartans. That's the word I was looking for. Let's do a greeny coloured tartan. I'm hoping that this time next year I'll be living in Scotland, so I better get used to tartans. Hoping to be living on one of the Orkney Islands, next to the sea. That would be rather lovely. And the intention is that we're going to be self-supporting in we'll have chickens and we'll have our fruit and veg grown on site, and Tesco don't deliver to the Orkneys, it's dreadful. Mainland Orkney has a Tesco, but they don't deliver to the islands. So I'm going to do probably every 4 to 6 weeks a trip to the mainland to get some food and have the largest freezer possible. But also I'm looking forward to doing my baking. I do love to bake. I can't remember if I already used pink. I don't think I did, I think it was purple. So yes, being the Orkneys hopefully, which would be rather wonderful. And where I live at the minute is rather wonderful because it's a little village at the bottom of hills. So I'm not complaining, I love where I am at the minute. But we fancy the isolation of the Orkneys, fewer people. Not that there's a lot of people in the village, but even fewer. And then I'm going to be running classes. So if you fancy a crafty class and you want a trip to the Orkneys, that is my intention, that I will be running classes in the Orkneys. If I put it out there enough, I'm figuring the universe will give it back to me. Right, let's have a look at our tartan on black. You know what, I'm looking at this and I think that sky is absolutely beautiful. I don't think you can get the true depth of the colour on camera, but it is rather good. Okay, so I think this is going to be our last pull for this video. Oh yes. And there we have another tartan. I think I actually prefer the white tartan, but it's giving you food for thought of what you can do. So you can see you get a much, it's not duller, it's kind of a dark, more of a darkness, whereas there's much more vibrancy with the white, and that's purely to do with the fact that the colour is going to be absorbed into the black paper, because black doesn't reflect backlight. So that's why there's the difference. So there you go, there's lots that you can be doing with a gel press and some crayons. I'll just leave out a few of the bits that we've done and remind you of what we've done. I do rather like that one. We did some on black, and then we did these first ones on white. So that was the very first one we did, and that was the second pull. And that's cleaning up our mat. And we better not forget this wonderful dotty sheet. I love this. I actually think the dots are the best thing about doing this. So if you just want an interesting dotty background, you can use this as a way of doing it. So there you go. I hope you found that interesting. Please subscribe, click the bell so that you get alerted to when I put videos up. Let me know your thoughts on the video, or if there's anything else you'd like me to experiment with. Why not pop on to Angie B Cards and Crafts on Facebook or Angie Mary B on Instagram and see what else I do other than what goes on camera. Thank you for joining me, and hopefully I'll see you again. Bye for now.